I declare that I have no desire and refuse to sign any type of contract. If a contract appears, supposedly signed by me, it means it happened under psychological or physical pressure.
Russia claims that the Ukrainian armed forces allegedly struck the dam of the Belgorod reservoir with Himars missiles. The strikes reportedly caused damage, according to the Russian telegram channel MNS. According to our information, the hydraulic structure was attacked by 3 Himars rockets, the report states. It added that the impact damaged several buildings with technical equipment, the lifting mechanisms of one of the sluices, and the dam crest. At the same time, it was reported that an inspection of the hydraulic structure confirmed that the integrity of the Belgorod Reservoir Dam was not compromised. There is no threat of flooding to nearby settlements, the channel added. MNS also claims that 2 people were allegedly injured in the attack, one of them a Russian National Guard officer. The Ukrainian armed forces regularly target military facilities in Russia, typically hitting oil refineries, enemy substations, or other sites that support the Kremlin's war machine. At the same time, Russian attacks are significant to mention. For example, in June 2023, Russian forces struck the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant in Ukraine, located on the Kakhovka Reservoir. As a result, settlements in the Kherson region were flooded, and local authorities announced an evacuation. There were reported civilian casualties and an environmental disaster caused by the strike on the plant, with negative effects on local flora and fauna. In 2025, Russia promised to restore the Kakhovka Reservoir after the conflict ends. The Center for Countering Disinformation stated that this is actually an attempt to create the illusion of concern for people under occupation and to distract from Russia's own crimes. Ukraine's 24th Mechanized Brigade repelled a Russian mechanized assault in Chasiv Yar. Russians lost 1 MTLB, a BMP-1, 2 quad bikes, and 3 motorcycles during the failed attack. Ukrainian defense forces in the embattled city of Chasiv Yar continue to demonstrate tactical resilience as the 24th Mechanized Brigade confronts sustained Russian pressure along the eastern axis. Russian troops attempted to breach defensive positions using armored vehicles supported by infantry, seeking to gain a foothold in the elevated urban district that serves as a critical gateway toward Kostiantynivka and the Sloviansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration. The brigade's coordinated fire, including anti-armor assets and precise drone-guided strikes, forced the attackers to withdraw and abandon damaged equipment. The situation in Chasiv Yar remains volatile. Yet the brigade's latest success underscores Ukraine's capacity to disrupt Russian attempts to advance toward strategically vital logistics routes in Donetsk Oblast. Russian forces have intensified operations in this sector in recent weeks, attempting to exploit any weakness in Ukrainian defensive lines before winter conditions become fully entrenched. The terrain around Chasiv Yar, characterized by dominant heights and a dense urban layout, presents attackers with significant exposure to well-prepared defensive fire. The 24th Mechanized Brigade has adapted its tactics to counter the evolving threat, leveraging rapid maneuver elements, integrated reconnaissance, and fortified strongpoints to blunt renewed assaults. Continued support from neighboring Ukrainian units ensures a cohesive front, denying Russia the tactical momentum needed to shift the balance. This is Sergei, a 19-year-old Russian conscript. He refuses to fight in Ukraine and warns that any contract signed by him would be coerced. In Moscow, a city Putin has long sought to shield from the impact of the war, the military is rounding up so-called draft dodgers at metro stations, using facial recognition technology. They refuse to serve because they know they could be coerced into signing a contract, potentially facing torture if they refuse, which is a tactic to make their deployment to the front lines seem voluntary. Putin has repeatedly claimed there are no conscripts fighting for Russia in Ukraine. Of course, he is lying. At least 60 young conscripts were killed in Kursk region, and the same number are missing without trace. According to rights groups, even those who were exempted from the draft on medical grounds are being rounded up and taken to conscription centers. School textbooks used by 10th and 11th graders even instruct pupils on how to join the army and warn of criminal consequences for evading the draft. This is brainwashing, pure and simple. The regime has tried using convicts to fill the army's ranks. It's tried bribing people with inflated soldier pay. Now the money is running out and it's escalating its coercion tactics.
Voiceover, Yevgeny Nikolaevich, born in the year 2005. I am recording this video with full responsibility. I am serving in the city of Chapayevsk in military unit 158, 71, 90th Tank Division, 7th RMP. I declare that I have no desire and refuse to sign any type of contract. If a contract appears, supposedly signed by me, it means it happened under psychological or physical pressure.
Russia will tell the US that Ukraine is sabotaging peace talks at Britain and Europe's behest, who allegedly want the war to drag on, Kirill Dmitriev claimed during a US visit. He insisted sanctions will have no impact on Russia's economy, only driving up prices at American gas pumps.
Russia's position is that Russia's national interests must be respected, that those sanctions, unfriendly measures, will absolutely not affect Russia's economy. They will simply lead to rising prices at gas stations in the United States because, accordingly, prices in the oil markets have already risen and will continue to rise. Therefore, some Biden's positions, these false narratives of Biden that they tried to impose on the Trump administration, we have seen that they never worked. And we will convey to our American colleagues that they should not become like Biden, should not follow Biden's false, absolutely wrong and failed approaches and his administration.
China is helping Russia, Zelensky said. And he is right. Satellite images reveal a sanctioned Russian LNG tanker, Pearl, transferring 170,000 cubic meters of gas to the Hong Kong-linked CCH gas near Malaysia, marking the first documented case of a Chinese-affiliated vessel helping Russia bypass new U.S. energy sanctions. The transfer occurred just days after Trump sanctioned Rosneft and Lukoil. China's expanding footprint in the global liquefied natural gas trade has drawn heightened scrutiny following the identification of an LNG tanker owned by the Chinese firm Pacific Gas that has been involved in transfers with a Russian vessel under sanctions. The activity reportedly occurred off Malaysia and appears to facilitate the continued export of Russian gas despite international restrictions. Investigators note that ship-to-ship transfers at sea, especially in regions where oversight is limited, create opportunities to conceal the true origin and destination of sanctioned energy supplies. Analysts cited in the reporting emphasize that the opaque structure of vessel ownership, frequent flag changes, and the rise of so-called shadow fleets complicate sanctions enforcement in the maritime sector. The situation reinforces broader geopolitical tensions, with China maintaining an important role in energy markets while international regulators monitor whether companies are facilitating restricted Russian exports. The case involving Pacific Gas illustrates the balancing act between commercial demand for LNG and compliance with evolving global sanctions regimes.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.